Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about OGGM's channel, and specifically my discussion of OGGM's channel, and OGGM's discussion of my channel. But I'm not going to bury the lead here. The entire point of me making this video is I'm going to cease all discussions of OGGM's channel, and I'm going to talk about why, and I'm going to talk about my side of the story of how we landed here. Okay, so OGGM recently said, "Hey, please do not discuss my channel on your channel," right? No problem. All right, so one, let's discuss how we got to this point, because this isn't the first time this has happened, right? So first of all, OGGM's channel and my channel had a lot of crosstalk for probably a couple years, right? And the reality, and if you go on his channel, you will find a video that literally says J. Scott Garibay made it, like my specific name, right? It says J. Scott Garibay did a video on me. Thank you. Like literally the title is J. Scott Garibay did a video on me. Thank you. Right? Like, and then and there's been tons of crosstalk, right? Now, is that unusual? No, not at all. There's tons of this happening, right? Dave Thomivore just did a video on Ben from Questing Beast video. Ben from Questing Beast talks about Dungeon Craft stuff, right? Runehammer Games calls out Dungeon Craft material. There's like D&D commentary is the vast majority of D&D commentators are like, this is an open public space. I'm going to talk about your channel. You're going to talk about my channel. Done, right? Like it happens all the time, right? And I think if you check OGGM's content, you'll find my name listed 100 times, at least 100 times in different videos, right? And not just like me saying I think this about him responding, but him just like literally just covering my content and saying, Scott Garibay said this is my opinion on it. Back and forth for like literally probably 100 different topics, right? And so at one point, OGGM comes along and he says, Scott, it says, Scott, don't talk about my channel anymore. And I'm like, yeah, no problem. You got it. And if you check my videos, I did not. Literally for weeks, maybe I think like 2 months, right? Now, I never stopped listening to OGGM because OGGM's one of my favorite channels. I love OGGM. I love his content. I love his channel, right? And that's one of the reasons why I'm engaged with him and the reason why I talk about him is I listen to everything. I literally listen to every video he does, right? So like, I might have missed a couple, but I would say 90% of his video, right? So like, because he's just like me, he puts a lot of content out, right? Like, and that's the other reason why I love his channel so much is we're pretty much the same dude, right? Like, in fact, I also think if you watch, right, like I started doing shorts, he started doing shorts. Like our channels are tied together on a lot of different, look at the timing, just look at the timing, okay? Like, yeah, you'll see. Okay, so here's the issue, right? So there was this discourse that was happening, right? Then I stopped using it, and then he continued. He was talking about my stuff 2-3 times a week, and then some weeks daily, right? And I was like, wait, he can't possibly mean that he's going to talk about my material nonstop, and I'm supposed to not talk about his channel at all, right? Like that can't possibly be what he's requesting, right? So then I was like, well, let me honor what he's saying. I want to jump back in here, so I'm going to talk about my favorite West Coast grognard, right? So I didn't use his channel's name, right? And I started talking about his channel with this new moniker, right? Like, to honor. He took that moniker and literally sells it on his merch shop today, right? Took my content, my moniker that I gave him, sells it as his merch, right? Go with God. I got no problem with it. It's fine. But the idea that there's like, so what really confused me through this whole thing is, and this is what this is what he's asking for now, okay? He's saying, hey, I'm going to discuss your content 2-3 times a week daily. You never discuss my content, right? Oh, and let me throw this hot sauce on the taco. I just promised everyone on my channel that when I hit 1,000 subs, I would never talk about you again, and I'm still going to talk about you. He's broken that promise multiple times, right? So even though he's promised when he hits 1,000 subs, which he hit, right? Congratulations, OGGM, right? He's saying, when I hit it, I'm still going to talk about the guy I promised you all that I'm not going to talk about, right? So his request is, I'll talk about your channel 2-3 times a week on the daily. After I promised I wouldn't do it, right? I'm going to sell your content as my merch right? But you never discuss my channel. Now, I'll tell you right now, I think that is an unfair request. Very unfair request, right? I don't think that's a fair request. I really don't, right? But you know what? I'm going to 100% honor it. And the reason why is I'm an adult. I'm an adult who is striving every day to be a better person, right? And if somebody I care about, and I do care about OGGM, asks me to do something that's within my ability to do it, I'm going to do it, right? So even though I think this is a very unfair request, I'm promising you, OGGM, this is the last time you will hear your channel mentioned on my channel. Now, I'm going to say this too, okay? In order for me to do that, the only way I'm going to be able to, or the best way for me to do that, is I'll unsubscribe and I'll try not to ever listen to your content again. Because your content is extremely engaging, not just to me, but to a lot of people. That's why you hit 1,000 subs, right? And if I listen to you, I'm going to have a high desire to respond. But if I stop listening to your channel, then then that should fix the problem of me having to respond to anything you say. So my promise to you, OGGM, I think your request is very unfair, right? But I'm going to honor it. I'm going to 100% honor it. And I'm also going to extend this to anybody else out there. If you're a Dungeons & Dragons commentator and I talk about your channel, just so you're aware, there's a long tradition of D&D commentators on YouTube discussing each other's channels, right? But if you want to extend to me this very unfair request that OGGM is extending, saying, I'm going to discuss your content, but you can't discuss mine, right? I'm trying, if somebody comes to me and says, hey, I have this request for you, and I care about that person, and, and I should be caring about all people, right? And it's within my power to do it, I'm going to do it, right? So OGGM, wish granted. You will never hear your name. You'll never hear your name spoken on this channel after this video, right? And all the best, and I hope you hit 2,000 subs soon. But when you do, I won't know it because I will no longer be watching, right? And I will no longer be commenting on your channel, right? So OGGM, your request was heard. You will never hear your channel discussed on this channel again. I just wanted to put that out there. Thank you, everyone, for your patience. Me handling a little business there. All that is what I needed to say today. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.